Okay.
Hello and welcome. I am Jill Vroman with Todd Vroman and the Southborough Public Library and Ryan Donovan, and we are doing a fall cooking series or a fall cooking show. So welcome, we're happy that you're here, either in person or on video. So I wanted to just talk before we got started with all the lovely things that Todd is going to cook, to have you think about the seasons. And this fall cooking show is about seasonal eating. And in the summertime, I want you to think about what you do and what you wear. As the season changes, do you change what you wear and do you change what you do? Do you change what you do? Do you change what you wear in the fall?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we don't do the same
Poor
things.
hands,
We
right.
don't do the same things in every season, and in turn, we shouldn't be eating the same things every season. We do it for our bodies, and it helps our bodies. So in the fall, it gets cold out, and it gets windy. So we want to change how our food, the types of food that we eat, to help our microbiome and to help our bodies. So we want to start going from the fresh summer veggies to the more unctuous foods, which are denser, and we want to add some moisture and we want to add some warming spices to them to help our GI system do a better job. So that's what we're going to show you today. All these foods that we're cooking are going to help your microbiome and help your body process or be able to digest your foods better. And we have a series of foods we're going to be cooking, but we just want to have you start thinking about digestion as a way to change. Ryan's adding people. Change what you do and change what you eat, just naturally, as if you would change your clothing. So welcome, and Todd's going to start cooking our first salad, which is an avocado, pumpkin seed, and grapefruit salad with a dressing. And we're really happy to have you be interactive and ask us questions, either about digestion, about health, or about the ingredients. And here we go with Todd. And welcome. Feel free to chat with us as we're doing this if you'd like to.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Let me check here. So yeah, as Jill said, we've got an avocado, pumpkin seed, grapefruit salad. And this is very simple. The dressing is like beyond simple. And Jill will talk more about the health benefits, but I'll guide you right through it, right? So first things first, we're going to start with some of the pumpkin seeds. Can you see the stove, everybody? I don't know. Can you go through that? I'll leave it over here for now. So what I'm going to do is toast pumpkin seeds for 2 minutes. And that 2 minutes is just till they're popping. So you guys can see in the pan, I'm just going to keep them moving. All right, and keep them on the heat. I'll let that sit for 1 minute. While that's happening, what I'm going to do is start actually getting some of the ingredients ready and show you a little bit about sectioning a grapefruit, right? Because part of this is actually having some grapefruit as part of it. So what I want to show you is, and Jill, can you stir that? Sectioning a grapefruit is not that hard, really, right? And I'm going to do the same thing with an orange in the other recipe. I'm going to use a different knife. But cutting off both ends, right? And then making flat surfaces for both. Try not to cut off too much so you don't lose too much of the actual fruit in the pith. And typically you can feel the actual grapefruit. If it's really squishy, more than likely you've got a thicker skin, as I do here. If you guys can see, that's pretty thick, right? So what I'm going to do is lay it on one flat side, knife at an angle, and start down and just kind of feel through. You're not going to be perfect the first time, right? But it's get as closest to the fruit as you can and to the white pith as you possibly can, and get rid of all that white pith, because that they call that white pith is really it's a bitter piece of the fruit. You can eat it, but it's not as pleasant a flavor. So I'll do this quick. I'm not going to do it perfectly because I've already done this prior, but I want to show you at least 1 or 2 sections so you can understand how to do this.
And I just want to interrupt for a second. So I'm going to shut this off. So the stove was on. The stove was on about a 2 or a 3, just to toast those, just to toast the pumpkin seeds, so they get browned. And we don't want to burn them, so they're only on for 2 minutes. And we just brown them, and that will actually really increase the flavor and have you really taste much more nuttiness and the fat of the seed, which is a great part of the seed.
Yeah. So as you can see, I've got most of the white off and the actual coating, and I'll just finish it off to the best of my ability. Okay, and then just start by choosing. You can kind of see here, there's some lines, right? That's actually the coating, and you want to actually get the knife right up on where you can see the actual line, right? And from there, can you see from this one? Can you guys see from that other camera, or is that too far away? Too far away, I thought so. So once you go into that line, going away from you, just start to push, and it'll actually take the section out in full without any of the hard, and if it does, like this one has a little left on it, just peel it off, and then I'm going to break it into pieces, and that's going to become what I'll show you guys, right? The what I'm going to put in the salad. So again, it's going up against one of these lines right here, and then it'll pop right up. Perfect. Easy stuff. It takes time though, and it's messy for sure.
So we're going to use the grapefruit and the avocado and pumpkin seeds. So avocado and grapefruit are both fruit, but they're the avocado is a very fatty fruit, which is really going to help our bodies as the weather gets colder to help us with our GI system. Will get really dried out if we eat foods that are really light, like summer foods, like light salads. So we want to start adding foods that have more fat in our diet, like avocado and nuts, which are all part of the salad. And as you can see, Todd's throwing in some onion, which just adds a little bit of a bite to the salad. He'll probably add just a little bit of it. So we're blending the textures.
Yeah, it's a little sweetness actually, believe it or not. Red onion tends to hold some sweetness versus a regular white onion, which can be a little more powerful. And you can go as thick or as thin or as much or as little as you guys like. I mean, again, these are all just suggested ingredients based on the flavor profiles. So if you like something different or less, don't feel like you have to add a whole ton. So typically I've been getting fresh arugula at a farm out in the Westboro, Shrewsbury area, Barbarian Farms. But they've had a rough year with arugula, actually. I don't know why, I gotta ask, but a lot of bugs have been attacking it. So when you see it, it's huge leaves, but they're not really attractive because there's a bunch of holes in it, but I need to find out why. Anyway, so what I'm starting with is a plate of arugula that we can actually make a bed for our salad. And then what we're gonna do is then take some of the actual, excuse me, grapefruit, arrange that around a little bit. Just some of the sections that we actually took and sectioned out.
I just want to mention that we're going to send the recipes. If you sign up, that's our dog Rosie, by the way. She's interested in what's outside. We're going to send the recipes along. So if you sign up through the library, you will get the recipes for these meals. So you don't have to take notes.
Yeah. So then what I did, as you can see, is I sliced some red onion so you guys can see, and I'm just gonna arrange some. I'm a big red onion fan and I'm gonna end up eating this, so I'm gonna put a little more. You know, some people don't like it as much, but that's, you know, about where I'm good with. And then what we're gonna do, it's avocado, right? So this is an avocado pumpkin seed grapefruit salad. I'm gonna use this one. This is a little riper.
How do you know if it's right?
You know if it's right by the color, number one. And number two, the feel as you kind of squeeze it. As you squeeze the actual avocado, you can feel a little give. You don't want to be too aggressive with avocado because you can bruise it very easily. So using a spoon, it's nice to kind of get in between the actual skin of the avocado and the actual flesh of the fruit itself, and then just push down and around, and you can scoop out the actual avocado in whole, right? And then what we'll do is we will just put it into a wedge format. So that's basically what I did with it. Put some half of an avocado in there. I'm going to take some of these seeds, and that's not the glamorous way to do it, but a little bit of these pumpkin seeds that were roasted. And then what we're going to do is actually make a small lime. Yeah. Sorry, I got to grab a bowl. And the one thing I didn't do. So we're going to grab some honey. So I've been using, there's two schools of thought here. Like, I love this honey. I don't know why, but the Be Well honey, it's from Pembroke. It's delicious and it works for me. I don't use it for everything because sometimes I buy a cheaper honey depending upon what I'm making. So I do think when it's part of the star, or if you have like very little ingredients, which this salad is one of them, using a higher quality honey is better. So I've got a lime. Going to actually press down on it so I can kind of loosen up some of the juices, because we're going to use some of the juice from a lime and some honey, and that's literally what we're going to use. So I'm going to take that, juice the lime, right? And this again is by what you like or don't like as far as amounts. So that's a half of a lime juice, and then you want about a teaspoon or so of honey. And again, I'm making one little salad, so it's not a lot to go by. And literally just kind of whisk it together. I know this seems beyond simple, but the reality is you don't need a lot to make it delicious. And you might not even need all of this. So I'm just going to take it, pour it over. Add a little kosher salt, some black ground pepper. That's it. I know it's very simple. You can add cheese if you want, anything that you might like. This is beyond healthy, and I might be adding, different things personally, because I like, other things. But you could add shrimp to this. You could add chicken, grilled chicken, steak, whatever you might want. You can even change the dressing, right? It's a basic salad, but you can have a lot of variations around it.
Okay, so if anyone has questions, feel free to ask them. I wanted to, I just wanted to bring up the topic of root vegetables. I have some beets here. Todd is going to be cooking a farro, apple, cranberry, dried cranberry salad next. But I wanted to talk about root vegetables. They're in season right now, and beets in particular. Anything that will stain your clothing is really great for your digestion. That means berries, that means cranberries, that means beets, and basically our bile in our gallbladder, it helps to break down our fat, but our bile gets very viscous over time because our diets aren't perfectly healthy. So what the beet does as well as the other foods that I mentioned, really bright berries and cranberries and beets. They will help thin the bile, and the bile is really part of digestion that we want to enhance. So any kind of berries or root vegetables that are bright in color, especially right now because they're in season, are really going to be great for your bile, which will be great for your digestion. And just briefly, when we eat what's in season, we're helping our microbiome. So our microbiome is something that is alive, and it is in us, it's in our gut. So we really want to change, just like our clothing, we change what we wear season to season. We want to change what we eat season to season. And I know that's not very commonplace for most people, but the more we can change seasonally, the more we're going to help our gut. The more we help our gut, the more we help our health. And if anyone would like a list of what's in season for the fall, they can reach out to me through the library or through jillvromanfitness.com, my website, and I will give you a list of what's in season for this fall season. And just adding some of those simple vegetables and fruits and spice mixes can help your digestion a lot, and that will really help you to enjoy life, because your digestion will be improved by it. So Todd's going to start cooking a farro apple dried cranberry salad next.
So I took the liberty, because I've learned enough over the year, I should say, that I cooked farro prior. Typically, I might make this with either a farro or a wheat berry. And Jill, I don't know if you want to talk about that, but in a minute or two. But very healthy grain and great to work with. It's similar to rice or quinoa or whatever that is. So farro, for me, you can use water, you can use stock, whether it's chicken or vegetable or beef, whatever you prefer. It adds flavor, right? Whether you use a vegetable stock or a stock that is chicken or beef, or just water. If you can also add, which I did, I added sprigs of rosemary and thyme while it was actually cooking. So the ratio of grain to liquid ratio is about 2 cups of liquid or 2.5 cups of liquid to 1 cup of grain. So whether it's farro or wheat berry, that's about the ratio. When you cook farro, literally put the actual, after you rinse it, put the grain into the actual liquid, then turn it on, boil it, bring it to a boil on high, and then bring it down to a simmer / light boil, uncovered, for about another 20 to 30 minutes. I really recommend tasting during that 10-minute span, because you never know the grain, the temperature, anything, how starchy it might be, etc. So I'll stop rambling on about it, but I think it's really important. A lot of people don't tend to test along the way. And it's done when it's al dente, and it'll still cook for 5 to 10 minutes after. Take it off the heat source, because a lot of people leave it in the pan on the heat source and it'll cook, and they're wondering why it's all sticky and dry, right? So it's actually taking it off and then spreading it out so there's more surface area and it can cool off quicker. Anyway, I'll stop on that, but that's like an important piece of it. And adding a little salt and pepper and herbs is good.
If anyone has any questions, we'd love to hear them. Todd's going to be cooking as we're talking, but Todd will actually cook the wheat berries or any grain like that, and then he'll put it on a big plate, and so it'll be al dente, and then he just lets it basically cool, so it doesn't continue to cook. And so just reiterating the cooking factor, because we don't want it, you don't want it to overcook, and then you're going to lose the value of the nutrient, and it won't taste as good.
Are you woman-splaining me? Is that what's happening?
Keep going. Keep going. keep going.
versus mansplaining. Sorry if anyone knows that. Anyway, so I took the apple around the core. So we're gonna have some chopped apple in here. This is again, you know, in bite-sized pieces so that you have it. If you don't like apple, don't put it in. Not a big deal, right? I mean, this is what you like. And you're gonna see, I'm gonna roast some vegetables after this, which I've already done, but I'll show you how to do it and how I did it. But you can also substitute roasted vegetables in this and other herbs and spices or whatever you like as a family or an individual that you can put into the salad. So I'm gonna use one apple chopped up, right? And then we've got other ingredients that we're gonna put in here. So we're gonna section an orange, same thing we did with the grapefruit, both sides, right? I'm not gonna do all of it, but I'll be fairly quick. It's the same process, same exact process. So just making sure I get most of the white of the pith off. And then the ability to look in the same place, see the lines, and be able to cut right inside and section. And there we go.
Perfect.
And continue. So I'll do some of that. The other ingredients that we want in here, right, are we've got our apple, we've got our dried cranberry, which I have. I also have some nuts that I'm going to put in there. You can really choose what you want. You can use nuts or seeds. In this one, I'm going to put a hazelnut inside of it. You can either toast it or not. I'm going to choose not to. Can you put the apple? I'm going to choose not to. So, what was I saying? Anyway, so I don't even know what I was saying. Anyway, so I'm sectioning this orange. I'm going to put it right in. We've got the other piece. So I'm going to put some of this, the farro that I did cook already, right into the salad. I made a double batch, so I'm not going to do all of what you see here. I'm going to keep some plain, because what we'll do in our family is I'll keep it plain. We'll put it with some steamed vegetables. You know what else is really good is an egg or two. It's great in the morning to take some of the farro and, you know, do a egg over easy or however you like it with a little yolk. Comes out quite delicious, actually.
So there's a lot of benefits, just want to hop in, there's a lot of benefits to these grains. And if you haven't experimented with farro or wheatberry, they have a lot of great benefits for digestion, for iron, and for, we want fiber in our diet, so lots of fiber, and they really taste very good. So so anyways, we just chose this one for tonight, but you know, you can play around with them and add different vegetables and fruits and herbs, and it makes a really delicious meal.
For sure. So, and I know it's real messy on my board here, but the other piece is taking some of these chives that I got. You can use green onion, you can use chive, anything in the onion family that makes sense for you. I chose chive just because actually I went outside to get one or two herbs and I came back with 6 or 7 because we're big fans of growing. Well, I am growing fresh herbs in our house. So, because I love to be able to do that. So just chopping some of these chives to serve as, like I said, you can use scallions / green onions, but chopping that up and just kind of dumping it right in there, it's going to add a nice flavor, nice oniony flavor that's not too overpowering. Then the other piece is some cranberries, dried cranberries.
And I just want to jump in and say that you know, Todd has a plate of dried or not dried. He's a plate of herbs here that we just grabbed from our garden. there's so many herbs that really enhance flavors for if you're doing chicken, if you're doing a salad, you can throw them in salads and they're gonna really help your digestion. So a small amount of herbs, whether they're fresh or dried, are really going to enhance the flavor and help your digestion. Your gut really benefits from just a little bit of herbs all the time. And right now they're in season. One thing that we did was we had an abundance of oregano and we took it and we just put it in a little bundle and we hung it up right over in our kitchen to dry. So, and that will be a
I mean, it's
source.
that simple, right? So I don't know if you guys have oregano, but this stuff grows crazy once it starts going. So I'll just use it and go over like a tomato sauce or whatever I'm cooking and just crumple a little. And I'm just going out consistently, grabbing bunches and wrapping them up and hanging them. So good way to do it. And then you can actually keep doing it and store it, right? So, okay, so another ingredient we're gonna add is kale. So not too much, just chop it up nice and fine. You wanna make sure that it's edible, bite-sized pieces for the most part, so people can actually, you don't want them like having to worry about cutting their food or whatever it might be. So I'm just adding that right in. I'm gonna end up, this would be, hot, it'll wilt the kale typically, but it doesn't need to either. This is where you get to choose, if you want a raw salad or you want something that's a little on the warmer side or what have you. So you get to actually choose what you would want to do. So go ahead and I'll do the dressing in a minute.
Okay, Todd's gonna work on the dressing. I wanted to share that, first of all, kale is a winter green. So that means that it grows in all the continents in the winter time. So it's good for us in the winter time and it's a green. So it has soluble and insoluble fiber and that's good for our GI tract. Now, if anyone has GI issues, we always want to cook our greens. If your GI issues are, or if you don't have them, then you can eat raw greens. But if you have trouble, then cooking the greens is much easier for your body because it's partially broken down. So just know that cooking your vegetables is easier to digest them. But kale and dark leafy greens are great for this season because they're in season. And we want to keep up with our vegetables because they really help our microbiome and that helps our health.
Great, thank you. So I know I just threw kale in and I know everybody kind of knows what kale is, but this is a fresh kale stalk. And what I did was actually take the bulk of all the kale and hold on to the thick stalk that goes all the way down and separate it. Pull it right off, right? So then you're left with this harder, woodier kind of stem. This is something you can use later for stock or something like that. You could even chop it, saute it, and eat it, but this will take a little more cooking, or add to soups or what have you.
Well, I just want to say, this is very hard to digest. So this would be a challenge for most people to digest. So it's great if you want to put it in water to make it into a stock because you get the benefit of the greens, but your body is not going to be able to digest it easily. That's why he's ripping it off and he's just using the greens. So just knowing that these hardy stems are tough for digestion, but you could put this in a bag in your freezer and then accumulate your greens or to accumulate any vegetables and then make a stock of your own liking.
Okay, so now I'm going to make the dressing for this. And again, you can add goat cheese, blue cheese, any cheeses you want, any vegetables you want. Like I said, and I'll allude back to it later, but you can actually do some of the roasted vegetables. You can have different themes with farro or any grain really. So I'm only going to show you how to do it, but I already zested a whole lemon. And it literally is using this lovely zester thing that we have usually used for cheese. and then putting it on the board so that you can actually get some leverage, right? And then pushing down on the lemon, down, and rotate the lemon. Rotate it, and you can see on the lemon, you can see the, I don't want to get too far to the white. Remember, we talked about that being real bitter. And then, as you can see, what I'm getting is an actual zest of lemon. And if you could smell it, if we had smell-o-vision, you would smell this lovely oils that are released from the actual coating of the lemon. So I'm going to do that. And then, like I said, I know I have kind of pushed down on the lemon. This is where we're going to start the sauce, right? Oh, I should have done that in here. Sorry, in a bowl. The lemon zest. Sorry, not in there. And then I'm going to actually do some lemon juice. And I'm going to take out any seeds that may have gotten in there, which there's a few in there, and I'll get them out in a second. So you can do half or a full lemon. A lot of people, I'm a lemon freak. So as Jill will probably tell you, I love lemon. Lemon and tomatoes are a big passion of mine, shall we say. I've got some salts, and I use kosher salts. And by the way, I do think there is a big difference in different kosher salts. Like, I'm not a big fan. I'll show you what I use, because I think it's the best, is the diamond crystal. It's the best, most versatile. It kind of works with food very well. So, okay, so we're going to put a little bit of honey. It's about 3 tablespoons or teaspoons, excuse me. 1, 2, 3. Right. Also, this is apple cider vinegar. So we have this stuff a lot. I'm a big vinegar fan too. This is about 1 teaspoon worth of, or 1 teaspoon, 1 tablespoon, whatever you guys like. We're big fans. Did I put salt and pepper? I forgot. I know I didn't do pepper. I might have done salt. Then just some pepper. And then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of honey. So natural sweetener, Jill can probably talk more about that, but that to me is just one of the best secret weapons you can have in your arsenal of what you use or don't use in the kitchen, because we use it in dressing a lot, and it's just delicious. So hold on, let me just finish. Okay. So I'm just going to mix. Sorry, mix it up. That's it, right? And it's very simple. Over there, and then I'll just mix it, and it's served.
So the dressing that Todd just made had many ingredients that help digest. Salt helps digestion, pepper, honey is an astringent, and the apple cider vinegar helps the gut. So all those ingredients help you to break down food, and they enhance the flavor of the food. So, you know, if you don't like pepper, use less pepper, but those are great. It's really, really great to use a natural salad dressing as opposed to a salad dressing that you buy from the store. And it really doesn't have to be that hard. Todd made it not complicated, but a little complicated. You don't have to do all of it. You could do, you know, 2 of those ingredients, but they help your digestion and they enhance the flavor. And it's something to play around with to help you enjoy your food better.
So,
okay. Todd is going to start now with roasted vegetables.
Yeah, we'll talk about some, you know what, maybe we'll, why don't we talk a little bit about this, the spice mix real quick. Why don't we go through that one? You want to talk about that? I'll get the ingredients. You start talking about the mix. Okay.
So this season is a season where we want to start bringing in different herbs to help our digestion. And so Todd has a bunch of herbs that we put together in a fall spice blend. They help your digestion and they enhance the flavor of the food. So our digestion can be very sensitive, and we want to be be aware of, how our digestion is. And if we feel, how we feel it is, but all these foods can really help your digestion and help the digestive process. So Todd has a blend that he makes, and it helps, you can put on a little bit on your food and see what you like.
So, very basic, right? And so we start with some cumin seed, which I don't know how much people use it or not. Great spice. Real basic seed. Gotta crush it. You can even cook it. Fennel, the other one. Lovely fennel seed. I'll let you see that. And then coriander, or we use organic coriander. Is more of a round type herb, and I'll get, spice. So what we did was we took, well, I did triple, so I did 3 tablespoons of each, and we put them in a pan and toasted them a little bit for about 2 minutes, and you got to keep moving them in a pan. And then after that, I put them in a pestle, mortar and pestle scenario, and just crushed it, and then all those together after toasted, and then we added 2 other things. So some ground ginger and some turmeric. So once that's added, I then go back and I'm just going ahead and mixing it all together. And you can see what came out. A little yellow hue, but the smell is just ridiculous. Very warming, grounding spice mix that just smells delicious.
So cumin, coriander, and fennel all really help digestion. You can actually take fennel seeds and just put them in water and boil the water and drink it as a tea, and it will help with gas and bloating. And so these cumin, coriander, and fennel you can use them as a tea or as a spice mix to help aid your digestion instead of sort of going to a pharmacy and getting Tums or something like that. So they're natural digestive aids.
Okay, so last dish, we're coming to the end here, is a roasted root vegetable dish that I make with a whipped tahini sauce, which is ridiculously easy. So I've already gone ahead and done the roasting because time-wise it doesn't make for it. But as you can see, what I've done is I've taken some rainbow carrots, right? You can see those rainbow carrots. Now, Jill might have a little insight on this, but for me, you can either peel these or not. Every vegetable I'm going to talk about right now, you can peel them or not. So tonight we did a potato, a carrot, and a beet that we roasted. And in our family, and I know mostly because my wife does what she does for a living, we don't peel that much actually, because I assume there's a lot of, well, I shouldn't assume, you know what happens. But I know there's some true nutrients that are in the actual coating of the vegetable, so we keep it on. I did peel some beet, but I'll show you the result. But I want to at least show you what I did for cutting the actual. I'm gonna do this if you want to talk. Can you guys see? Can you guys see if I do this? So I literally I'll just do it quick. I'm keeping the root end, the top end of the carrot on, and I chop the other end off. That's it. Some I don't. Everybody can do whatever you're comfortable with serving. Some of them, if they're really skinny and whatever, they're gonna burn anyway or caramelize. But we literally just leave. I wash them already, and then what I'll do is coat them in a little olive oil and salt and pepper, and then roast them. The bigger they are, I might cut them in half. So as you can see, what I did was put some parchment paper down. I cut some of these in half. As you can see, this is a purple carrot with a yellow inside. and then just roasted it off. So then it comes in like this, right? It's all done. This can be used either in, in as a side. It could be actually an appetizer, and you can use the whipped tahini mixture that I'm going to talk about as a dip, or you can use it as addition to something else to use as a dip. So anyway, that's the carrot portion. And then, I'll show you how I cut them, but I also did the same thing, right? Parchment paper with some potato and then some beets. This one I left whole. I left this one larger, and I put it in longer. This is just another method for you to be able to actually roast a vegetable. And you can actually either peel it. It comes off like incredibly easy to peel. And this is how restaurants do it. If they're doing it on their own, this is how they're doing it. And they're peeling it off. And then you'll see, like when you go to restaurants, and excuse me if I'm not as skilled, but you'll see them, right, do these thin pieces, right? And you might even see, it fanned out and then laid out with, some sort of like goat cheese and herbs or whatever. So you can roast it off. It's tender as all get out, right? And it's kind of or you can chop it in cubes, whatever you want. But what I did was, like I showed you, I kind of roasted it off in cubes already, and I'll show you how I cut it.
But so, we're going to be closing up, but I want you to really think about this season and the vegetables, and making it easy for you to incorporate vegetables that are in season in your life. So, a root vegetable, people can feel like, oh, this is so much work to do. Really, all you have to do is wash it, chop it off, put some olive oil on it, and roast it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to peel it, and the skin, it has a great benefit to it. So once it's cooked, it's much more easy to digest.
Yep.
But if we leave you with anything, having the vegetables that are in season are really, really beneficial. And baby steps. We want to always take baby steps with what we do.
So let's do this quick. I'm not going to go too crazy. There's 3 vegetables. I kind of showed you the carrot. If I was going to cut the carrot smaller, right? Again, this is the ability to either cut it small in half, right? Or in half again. So you've actually cut it on the bias, right? So you got that. Or leave it whole. It depends, right? A lot of what you need to do is try and get some even pieces so they cook evenly. For the beet, I'm going to do this because it seems like it's a better view. I literally cut off this end, and then you can kind of see right here is where it connects. I get as close as I can to the stalk and leave as much as I can so that I'm not taking too much of the beet away, right? And then from what I did for pieces was in half. You can either wedge it. Again, you can do whatever you want. Make wedges, you can make, right? Just kind of you want to be uniform, whatever it is, so that everything kind of cooks in unison. So, and I should have done this last, but I'll do a potato, same thing. I did this in 3s, in half. And then again, I'm shooting for even pieces, as even as I can. And if it's not perfect, it's okay, right? Because often the difference in textures are going to help and actually be more enjoyable. Some people like stuff more done, less done, whatever it might be. So that's that for as far as the vegetables. And all I did was put it in this lovely big bowl, wherever it went. It's over there with the quinto. Big bowl. Vegetable, and I don't mix, I do them separately because you're going to see the beet will bleed the red into anything it touches. So I keep that separate, the potato separate, and the carrot separate. And like you saw on the actual cookie sheet, so you can see I did beet, this, and then I did carrot on a totally different sheet.
I just want to share before Todd keeps chatting away that, okay, the beet was at the end of this vegetable, and the beet green and the beet root are so healthy for you. So It is really a shame to throw this away. You should, all you have to do is just wash and saute this, or chop it all and put it into a broth, and that will be such a nutrient dense broth. So don't throw away your beet greens. If it's part of the plant, you can eat it and it has a lot of nutrient density. And if you're throwing away the greens of the carrots or celery, you can use them as part of a broth, and just water and the greens that you're not using, the end of the lettuce, the end of the celery, and that will make a great stock for another time. You can use them, you can combine them for the week, and every weekend start making a stock, and you get the benefit of all your greens and you're using your vegetables. All right, so Todd's gonna finish up with the tahini dressing.
Last thing is like ridiculously simple. So regular bowl to mix stuff in. You guys saw me, I was just making some more lemon zest. You don't have to use lemon zest. I do. I think it adds a great flavor. So you can see I did the zest of 1 lemon. Here we go. I'm gonna do this. Is that better for you guys? And then I use, so this is tahini, which is a basically roasted sesame seed paste that very flavorful, a lot of Middle Eastern foods, and about a quarter cup, not too much.
So,
and then
I just want to jump in that this ingredient is great for this season, because the season is drying, and tahini is full of nutrients and fat, which we want in this season. So sesame seed and sesame seed paste are great for the season. So that's why we're bringing it into this recipe.
Okay, so I've got the tahini and the actual lemon zest. I'm gonna put lemon juice, and this is another area, like I love lemons, I told you that, so I'm gonna put a lot in, or a good amount. I'm gonna do a whole lemon, or almost, sorry, just about 1 and a squeeze here. Some salt, and I'm literally just doing a pinch or 2 of salt and some pepper. And again, it's to your taste, and then it's literally just a quick whip. And I would put this, you could make this in a serving bowl, and I made very little, so but the reality is this sauce is so versatile and people love it. You can actually add a little bit of water, a little more lemon juice, whatever it might be, and you can actually pour it over even some of the grains that I did. If you didn't want to have the sauce that I used, you could use this type of sauce. You can add this to a Greek yogurt or a plain yogurt and use that in chicken shawarma or anything like that you might be making. So very versatile. This is thicker. It's more of it. I'm gonna actually, oh, sorry, and you got olive oil. Forgot olive oil. My apologies. A little bit of olive oil too. I knew something was off. And it's, no blender, no nothing. You're talking 4 or 5 ingredients ultimately to get what you need out of this. So anyway, that's the actual sauce itself, and you can use it with the vegetables that we made. Or like I said, you can thin it out or add it to other stuff. So very versatile.
All right, so those are the things that we had cooked up for you today. Does anyone have any questions on cooking, digestion, ingredients, anything at all?
It's just you and I, Andrea. So it's all you if you have any questions.
Well, and Tina's here.
I've absolutely enjoyed it, and I wish I was in your kitchen with you so I could taste it.
I know. Where are you? I'll drop some off.
Yeah, in Fayetteville. You know Fayetteville?
Yeah.
Top of the hill in Fayetteville.
They did drop off like many things to me after the last one. And I will say, I never thought I would like watermelon gazpacho, but I did like it. It was that's the first time I've tried a gazpacho that I like.
Oh, good.
So,
That's good to
yeah.
hear.
Ryan, I was like, why do you want to do Todd?
I
wanted to
love
do
it.
that, and I
I
was
love
like,
it.
why do you want to do that?
She doesn't like gazpacho at all, so she was totally against it, but I'm a big fan.
Do you have any questions on
And it's okay.
anything at all? If you don't, it's totally fine.
Well, thank you. And I hope we can get the recipes. How are we going to get the recipes?
So I think I have your email. I can send it to you.
Okay.
Jill will send it to me and I'm gonna send it to, so we had 4 people, because I added it to the newsletter today. I think, did you find it from the newsletter? Is that how you found it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Today, yeah.
So I have all the emails for those people, and then we had 2 people who registered, and then there were, I think, 2 people who registered with Jill, who were separate. So we're gonna get all of the people the recipes. So I think some of them, just to let you know, we recorded the program tonight because a lot of people couldn't come because it was the day after Labor Day. So we'll send them the recording as well. So you'll get all of that.
Good. Okay.
All right, great. Well,
All
thanks
right.
for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thanks so much, Ryan.
Do you want anything?
I will say I ate a lot today, and I should say no because I ate too much. Like, this is one of the few Tuesdays where I like am well fed. But
Ryan,
thank you.
Ryan, hit the stop the recording button.
Okay, hold on. I'm doing it now. Bye, everybody. I can always edit out the end too.
All right, good.